Hey everybody, Big Pauly back for another video, back for a new segment which is called Trek Talk with Big Pauly, and this is a weekly chat about the new Netflix series Star Trek Discovery, which I've seen the first 2 episodes several times. So I'm just going to give a little bit of a heads up of what I think about the show so far. I won't give any spoilers in case nobody's seen it, but I'll give my opinion of what I think, the look, the feel, things like that. So we start at the beginning. It was a 2-hour premiere, well, about an hour and 40 minutes, and it was split into 2 episodes on Netflix in the UK, and I believe it airs over in the US on CBS All Access, which is a subscription service the same as Netflix. But I think I read that they gave the first 2 episodes on CBS, and then you have to sign up for the rest. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what was going on. So it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time since we've had a Star Trek series. So the last one we had was Enterprise, which ended way back. Now this new series is on a grand scale. So they've pulled out all the stops. The look of it is way better than what you'd get on a TV show. I know Voyager, DS9, Next Generation back then, they were restricted by budgets and what they could build, and now because of technological advances, the sky's the limit basically. But this first 2 episodes has the feel and the look of a $200 million major blockbuster motion picture. It is that gorgeous to look at. Now the show stars, if I can't get her name right, Sonic Martin Green? I don't know. But she's from The Walking Dead. And she plays a character called, she's a first officer, and she plays Michael Burnham. I don't know why she's got a bloke's name. He's Michael. I don't know why they decided to give her a name of Michael, but I've never heard it referenced to a woman before, so I don't know if it's multi-sexist. No, that's not the right term, is it? But I don't know. But it's going to take a bit to get used to, so I suppose they could have called her Michelle, but I don't know. Maybe it's too PC or something. I don't know. But it also stars Michelle Yeoh as the Captain Giorgio of the Shenzhou. Yeah, we're going to get all these names wrong to start with. And she's really good. And I really wanted her to continue all the way through the series, because she would have been a really good captain. We've also got Doug Jones as well. Now he plays a character called Saru, and I think he's going to be my favourite character in the entire series. It's kind of a combination between Data and Spock. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing his development as a character throughout the series. So as the show is called Star Trek Discovery, in the first 2 episodes we don't see the USS Discovery. So hopefully that's coming in episode 3. And also we don't see Captain Lorca, played by Jason Isaacs. So actually this could be a bit of a spoiler, actually, couldn't it? Oops, sorry. Yeah, so the kind as I say, the look is absolutely stunning. So far as the costumes are concerned, they're absolutely flawless. The Klingon costumes, my God, they are out of this world. Beautiful golds and blacks, and it's just their costumes are just unbelievable. And the Starfleet costumes as well, very minimal, one colour, but they've got certain bands and things like that, and pips, like we had with the normal pips around Next Generation. Well, they've actually got it on the badge, so you've got a little couple of pips going down the badges. So it's very clever, and I do like the uniforms. They're kind of a pre-Enterprise uniform, just one standard colour, but they are posh. They are like, you could say, dress uniforms, but yeah, they are very posh, and they're ironed as well. The sets themselves are staggering. They are huge. The first time we get a look at the bridge of the Shenzhou, it is unbelievably big. We know what the bridge is like on the Enterprise D, and it was expanded in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek in 2009, but this is incredibly big, and it is so futuristic. I know this is set 10 years before Kirk, but when you look at this, the beautiful silvers and the, it kind of does have like a military type feel to it, a bit like Enterprise did. Hard metals and aluminiums and things like that, but it is pristine. It also has a bit of an element of the 2009 J.J. Abrams movie as well, with the lights tinkling everywhere and all the buzzers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it is a beautiful looking bridge. So we don't know what the Discovery looks like yet. Now we do know from early concepts, and it looked like a triangle, and I didn't like that. It looked a bit hideous, but apparently they were the original designs, I think, for the Enterprise way back. But I think because of fan input, they've maybe restructured it and they've redesigned it and given it a bit more detail as well. And also around the saucer section around here, apparently there's a cut-out section as well. So that'd be interesting to see what actually that is. Maybe it's something to do with the actual phasers. I don't know. The special effects themselves are beautiful, and they're flawless. I couldn't spot any dodgy special effects or anything. The budget must have been huge on this, but yeah, the actual special effects, the battles, are actually great, and it sort of like puts it on a, not quite, but on a level with the Battle of Wolf 359. But yeah, it is really good. The acting is good. Of course, it's a little bit from Michelle Yeoh, because I know she's an established actress, but she's used to dealing in like the Oriental side of the acting, and I don't know if she's done that many English movies. I know she was in one of the Bond films, and she's been in a few other things, but she does a really good job. And Sonika, yeah, she does a really good job. She was always good in The Walking Dead anyway. Loved her character in The Walking Dead. And as I say, there's a handful of other characters on the bridge. There's a funny blue fella with a couple of plugs in his neck, which we'll learn all their characters eventually if they all survive. And there's also some weird looking thing with like a crash helmet with lights all going down it. Oh, my hair's all over the place there. Yeah, kind of like lights and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure what that is. Every time it says red alert comes up on like a visor. So that should be interesting. Should be an over-enlarged Geordie DeForge visor, I should imagine. Talking of that, there is a bloke on there that's actually got a visor that goes around the back of his head. So that should be interesting. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I think he might be communications, but we'll see. So the handful of CGI that we've seen, I believe there was some CGI at the beginning in the first scene down on the desert with one of the aliens that are down there. That is really good. You don't see too much, but it's a solid CGI, and I've got no quarrels with that. So I hope they don't overuse the CGI. But although this series is going to go for, I think is it something like 17 episodes, I hope the whole series doesn't revolve around like human and Klingon war. I hope they do throw in other things. I know there's a couple of characters coming in. There's Harry Mudd, and I think we also get to see a Tribble as well. And there's also mention of like filthy Andorians and and Vulcans and other characters like that. So hopefully we get to see some other characters. But yeah, this is big budget. This is a big budget Star Trek TV show. It doesn't give you the feel of the original shows, so it's not an hour episodic show, you know, self-contained, and then it goes on to the next week, and then I think this is gonna be one like continuous storyline, you know, pretty much like the 24 seasons, just that one story just told over like the whole season. And I believe there is going to be a second series in 2019, I think. But yeah, I want to see this develop. I want to see the discovery. I want to get to know Captain Lorca, Jason Isaacs, and any other characters that come on the bridge as well. And it is about exploring, so I hope the whole show is not about war, completely about war. We want some exploring. We want to go to some planets, and we want to interact with some other alien life forms and things like that. So hopefully they'll stop off at a couple of space stations, and we'll get to see some shit and some aliens and that kind of stuff. I like the opening. Next Generation, Deep Space Nine and Voyager all had great opening theme tunes, and they had beautiful ships flying through nebulas and dust clouds and all stuff like that, against the music, you know, the backdrop of the music and the ship flying through and all that. One of my favourites was the Voyager, when it shimmered across the rings of the planet and you can see the reflection, and also when the shimmering of the rings came down. So I really like that. I was brought up on Next Generation, so I absolutely adore Next Generation, but cutting it close to Next Generation is Deep Space Nine. I know it's not a starship out exploring, but I just absolutely loved the characters in Deep Space Nine, and I loved the setting. Just on this space station, they come to us through the wormholes rather than us going out to all the other different universes and the galaxies. But yeah, there were some great episodes of Deep Space Nine, and I really hope that they do remaster it like they did with Next Generation, because I want to see Deep Space Nine in high definition with 5.1 surround or 7.1 surround. That will be incredible. So yeah, I hope they really do that. At the moment, the only two shows that we've got in high definition are the Next Generation, which was the remastered one, and also Enterprise. So there's no Voyager either. And the original series, because they redid the special effects on the original series. So yeah, that's really great. Yeah, so the opening scene, the opening track, it's a bit of a different one, because although there was a lot of bad feedback when Enterprise came out, because, you know, there was no of the spaceships flying through dust clouds and stuff like that. It was like it was Russell Watson, you know, he's kind of a rock song, and it was based over actual video footage of us going to the moon, rockets going up and all that kind of stuff, the walking on the moon, Neil Armstrong and that kind of stuff. And that actually did, I think that annoyed a few people to start with. It took a little while to get used to, but I think we accepted it after a while. But this one, the actual theme tune itself is kind of good. It's not as memorable as Deep Space Nine or Next Generation, but it's got a kind of a movie feel to it, a movie theme tune, rather than a Next Generation or that kind of thing. And it has got a melodic theme, but it's not as strong as some of the other Star Trek shows' theme tunes. And also the imagery, rather than the ships flying through the dust clouds, as I've said, it kind of reminds me of, how can I put it, an architect's notepad. So it's kind of like in like stop motion, and it's kind of like phasers coming up on the screen and being pulled apart and all the bits coming out of it and that kind of thing, and hands nearly knocked the Enterprise over then, going like that, and helmets, and kind of a weird it also has a kind of a Casino Royale kind of opening as well. It's you know, the Daniel Craig one, the first one with the funny cards and that kind of feel to it. So, you know, kind of an animated 2D animated, but we hopefully we'll learn to like it. The theme tune is starting to drum into my head. I keep sort of like going over it a few times, so I don't think we can walk down the road whistling it, not yet anyway, but we'll see how that crops up. But there is some really good music, some really good big orchestrated music on it. So yeah, all in all, a really good positive start to Star Trek Discovery. The first 2 episodes are really good. Basically it's all around the Klingons in this incident, so I'm looking forward to so many more episodes and so many more stories, and maybe we'll get to see some extra ships. Because it's set before Kirk's time, 10 years before, there's a possibility that hopefully we'll get to see maybe a young Kirk or even a young Spock. And because Sarek plays one of the major characters in this, played by James Frain, who done a really good job as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the progression of that. I'm doing all that shit with my hands again. So yeah, I do love these big budget Star Treks. I know we can't have it as we had it back in the day, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s. He's got to move on technologically, especially when you've got shows like The Orville, who are pulling out all the stops, you know, for the special effects and everything. They can't be left behind. So it's got to look more modern. It's got to look a modern age, even though it's set before the ropey 60s, the ropey old 60s plastic and cardboard sets. It's got to look way more advanced than that, otherwise we probably wouldn't end up watching it. Yeah, and as for the big budget, I mean, there are a lot of people that don't like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, because they kind of feel that it ruins the canon, especially when they blow up Vulcan and change the whole. It's the Abrams universe, isn't it? It's the Abrams universe against the Prime universe, whereas this Discovery is set in the Prime universe. So everything from previous Star Trek canon is going to be kept. So Vulcan is still there, it hasn't blown up and all that kind of shit and all that. But I do love the J.J. Abrams movies. I'm a hardcore Star Trek fan who loves the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, all of that, even the animated show. But I also love the J.J. Abrams movies, especially the first one. That is just such a beautiful film. The cast is great on that. The music is spectacular. Oh, the theme tune is just so memorable. And I just love that Enterprise. It gives you a big feel of motion picture. Big Enterprise. And I also really liked Into Darkness with Benedict Cumberbatch. That was a really good film as well. Beyond, yeah, is okay with Idris Elba. It's not as good as the previous 2 Star Treks, but I did like, I can't remember her name there, the character with the black and white face, Kayla, I think it is. And I really hope that they continue with, someone's coughing at my window, and I hope that they continue with her character in the next film, Star Trek 4, if they do one, which I think they will. So give it a year or 2. But yeah, so that's my little review, a little heads up of the first 2 episodes. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be really interested to know what your opinion is, if you've seen it, and what you think of it. Put it down in the comments, because I really want to know how everybody else feels about this show. Because I am giving it a thumbs up. I really like it, and I can't wait for the next episode next week. So just put down in the comments box if you've seen it, what you think, and I'll do this little video each week after each episode, so it'll be a shorter video, probably maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but I'll give it a bit of a review on what I think has happened in that actual episode, and what's good, what's not, and what's out there, balls out kind of thing. But yeah, so If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, because I give Star Trek Discovery a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.